Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for New Sports. There's a two-headed Vic coming to you live. This is the man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate, bringing you his own unique brand of sports. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Vic. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I picture that if Nicki Minaj, somebody could introduce the sports, would come off a little bit different than you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
Me too. Shit.
Okay.
I hope so. Can we get some Nicki up in here? Come on, Nicki. Come on, Nicki.
Bring me Obama, First Lady.
Sang about
she would introduce it a little bit different. All right, you guys, welcome to New Sports. You know how we do it. We wrap the sports around a little bit of what we call the context of social media, or just your opinion and our opinion. You know, we're not broadcasters. Well, I claim not to be. Mario does all the time. And we come from this world of opinions, strong opinions, as you experienced for our last segment. Trending topics, you guys. If you don't know now, the Knicks don't match the Jeremy Lin offer. Houston's got him and gone. Bottom line is did New York let this one go? Even at the cost that it would have bumped them up in the third year.
He's from Harvard.
Definitely. Now, before we get there and touch this one, the Red Nation begins with Linsanity, and we're going to touch on this one. Can Houston deliver the same impact as New York did with Jeremy Lin? And I'm actually going to roll it into something else and say, well, here, the picture you had Jeremy Lin and Tim Tebow. Coming up this season, who will be a greater impact as far as media hype? Can Houston deliver at the same level? Where Tim is in New York, Jeremy's in Houston. All right, the next one. Kobe calls Stern's idea stupid for the Olympic age cap of 23 years. That's for all participants in the Olympics, not just basketball. Elvis Dumerville.
Sounds illegal. Well, it's not illegal because it's not a job. Well,
yeah, no, it's not.
It could be. They could be at least sued.
Yeah, they can. But we're going to get into whether philosophically or does it represent what we call fair, unfair, disadvantage, all that kind of stuff. Elvis Dumerville, wide receiver, Denver Broncos, a suspicion of road rage, and so his assault, which he was arrested for, hits the billboard. So the people sit back and hit him back with what he should be focused on. I'm going to hit that one. And Des Bryant's mom says he tried to kill me. Now, Mario, I want to go right into the Linsanity situation here. Let's just keep it real. All right, Houston gets it. In trade-off, they get a pudgy Raymond Felton, who's a point guard, about 5'11", quick, fast, but he came in kind of overweight.
Pudgy,
he came in overweight.
Kind of like biasing us there.
He came in overweight, and they got a 39-year-old Jason Kidd who can't get out of the Hamptons without being escorted by the police. All right, now, you have this cat right here.
Now, who would have predicted those two? Okay, first of all, I don't know about the pudgy. Vic, you called him pudgy.
He is pudgy. He's overweight right now. He came into camp overweight.
Okay, that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign.
And Jason Kidd,
all right,
okay, gets a DUI.
Yes.
Okay.
Versus Jeremy Lin. So here it is. You got
who wears a bow tie.
You got Jim Nolan, who, let me give you, if you don't know, Jim Nolan is really the inheritance or the son of the billionaire, his father, who has basically been running this operation in New York for the last 10 years. You don't think New York fans right now are going like this. So let's try to understand this. You spent a lot of money to get Carmelo, Stoudemire. You get Jeremy Lin, media sensation. He's going to hit. And it doesn't trickle down in the international competition, they say, because it's so layered. So many people get paid off to get the residual effect coming back to the NBA. So that's not the issue. So we are going to get excited about the 39-year-old Jason Kidd in Felton's Ray Felton.
L.A. is historically competitive against the Knicks and New York. And all I can say as an L.A. person and as a person who knows New Yorkers and how much they're so arrogant about their basketball. They swear New Yorkers really believe that New York is God's gift to basketball.
Right.
So to watch them go through this,
right,
they are like dying.
They are going just insane.
They are like pulling their hair out, and I'm just laughing. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing. Too bad, New Yorkers. And by the way, New Yorkers, that thin-ass pizza is no good either.
All right. So wait a minute,
now
you guys.
It's two shockers for you.
So let me just say this, because, usually we get into this, and we're going to hit it quick, because I didn't get it yesterday. Thank you, PMC. Yeah, I didn't even want to bring this up, because I just don't think it has a lot of weight. Marcus Camby, if they get Marcus Camby, fine, they got him. But he's 35 plus and moving on.
He's good off the bench. I like his hustle a lot of
times. The problem is what they need.
He's not a real center.
They found.
He plays it.
Not a real center. He's not even close.
But Vic, you have to give. Sometimes he really plays some really remarkable games.
He's been traveled, and he hasn't stopped to retain what he brings. So at some point, you have to get it.
That's cool. I'm trying to give Marcus a little break. Marcus had some good games.
No, Mario. I'm saying Marcus is good. Marcus is good.
It's not his fault. He's in between a center. He's not physically in between a center.
Okay.
And a forward. And he's always had to play center, right? Step up and play some center.
And let me say this: the league has changed in such a way that you have to be very careful about getting older. It's totally different.
What can you do? Yeah, give me some pointers. Like what? What can I do?
Number one is,
check ID when you take a girl out.
No, I'm saying the decision makers have to go and here's Miami showing you how youth and energy and size only matters when you think it matters, but big and slow don't work in this time.
No, he's not slow.
No, but he's old.
Yes, but I'm with PMC. Last time he was Vic. He was productive. The last go round with the Knicks, he was productive. I had to give it to him. I've never been a Marcus Camby fan.
Right.
He just was productive though. It's like Elton Brand. Elton Brand.
But would you go look at Elton? Go look
at his kind of question right now.
Go look at his good years and then look at him current. Then you'll see how big a difference.
Of course, all of them. But is he still worth it? Because he's one who's right now, right? Yeah. He just got dropped by Philadelphia,
yes, he did.
And he picked up in Dallas.
Right. And Dallas proved the point of what you can do when you have it. Win the championship, go young. As soon as you lose the championship, go old.
And then go fall to the floor.
Right. So here's the cut. I want to do this for you guys.
Okay.
Let's see what we rate this move. This move. Is this a letdown? Is it whatever? This is leaving Jeremy Lin to the Houston Rockets. Is this big pimping on New York's part? Is this balling on New York's part? Do we give Jim Nolan the big pimping move? He says, I don't need to pay that much money. He has no return value. We don't need to love him like we used to. Is that the move? Big pimping, letdown. What do you think?
It's a letdown for New York.
Yes.
But in some ways, shouldn't it be a letdown for Houston? Because didn't they have him before for a fraction of this?
What they said is
wasn't he signed? Wasn't he on the Houston?
Oh, you're talking about before he was on New York?
Yeah, he was on Houston. They're the ones who dropped him. They had him for nothing.
Yeah,
they had him for absolutely no money.
Right now, see, Houston can sit there and say, "Well, we didn't see this," but
they had him for no money.
You're in the biggest media, city in the U.S. basically, and he's in 25 games comes and deliver way beyond the D leagues. And now you take everybody's love affair with him and go, no, we don't need you anymore. We got Jason Kidd.
That's why I just told you your vote don't count. I just told you your vote don't count.
So I'm just saying. So it's a letdown, isn't it?
For New York, it's a letdown. I just laughed that Houston had him before at a fraction of this money.
Right.
I mean, a mere fraction.
I agree. And
now 2 years later, is it literally 2 years, Vic?
Yeah.
1 year.
Let me say
1 or 2 years later gets him back for $25 million.
And let me say this: New York could have signed him way earlier in the season and didn't. Here's the problem, Mario.
You know what? You're right.
And here's the other problem. Do you let somebody go and you're going to get no return value? So here's two moves you didn't make. You could have signed him already.
I agree.
Could have leveraged him if he was to go into an option to be available. You get nothing in the trade. So you just see what I said? That's what I'm saying. It's done. It's done. So now here, you know what? Why you have to use the guns, man? You know, they're watching.
One more last one.
Okay. All right. Why are you doing that? It's not over. Let me say this. Now, New York may have made a mistake. Jeremy got paid. But will the Red Nation in Houston bring the same flavor and energy with Jeremy Lin playing in Houston as it was in New York? Because he got paid, but will the following, the hype? You don't think
I don't think so, but Maybe it'll happen. You know what? Okay, there was a time when Houston was really kind of on fire,
right,
with sports. Okay,
right,
and they can do it sometime with baseball too, I think.
Right.
So maybe a return to them, Vic. But it makes you pause for a minute, though, right?
Right.
Because you go, I don't think so. Because New York, like I said, they love their basketball in New York. They love their sports in New York.
That's
when
right.
you think about it,
right?
It's just that the Jets ain't won really good in so long,
right?
But baseball, they're used to winning,
right?
And they used to be used to winning in basketball,
right?
So no, but man, I don't think so, Vic. I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys my own assignment of the move with the Jeremy Lin and Jim Nolan, the whole thing. There's a category called AARP, and it's not as much as a letdown on that move, but I'm giving them the AARP with the 39-year-old Jason Kidd and the Marcus Camby move. So I'm sorry, y'all get the AARP. Okay. I'm sorry, that's just the way it goes. Now, the Red Nation, Mar, you already answered the question. Will Jeremy Lin be better in developing his basketball skills, not only having the media hype and the fellowship of the fandom experienced in Houston? You're saying it will be a whatever, let down, balling out of control, big pimping. What do you think?
I don't know. See, I'm a little dubious. I thought that New York was a good fit for him, and I thought it was a good fit for him with Jason Kidd, and I'm still responding to that.
Right.
I have to admit, I haven't really looked at the Houston situation close enough.
Right.
Because I was still too let down from the fact that I thought it was really a great situation for him.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good all around with Jason Kidd, the learning, the being able to, spot up
same here.
different time, the bench. I liked it. The only issue was how to rotate everybody to make it work, because it allows for rest and everything.
And Jason even commented on saying, hey, you have to have different gears. We all know that. So now all of a sudden, Jeremy won't be learning from Jason. Jason will not have to share the gear control.
Who is at Houston? That's what I was trying to think. Houston, y'all, man, y'all are falling into enigma land.
It's going to be. Let me tell you what's going to happen with Jeremy. Jeremy will be carrying more weight, but he won't have the surrounding talent around him like he had in New York. So he will be more on the point, and he will get a lot of playing time. But it's going to be different because they're gonna designate Jeremy the point of contact, and when he has to give up the ball, hopefully they'll have the pieces around him where he can say, hey, look, don't focus on me too much. I got good players around me. We don't know.
Well, that's why I said it could be a good thing, too, because, when you're forced into a situation, you have to do more.
Right.
That often is a growth thing. So I wish him the best because I know he'll get better fashions.
Yes.
And a better haircut and a better suit and the shirt.
There you go.
But I like Jeremy Lin, so you have to give, he's what I like work ethic kind of guys. I like his heart and his spirit.
Right.
And I like the fact that he comes from an academic place and was still playing sports.
I like it too.
So,
well, here's the question. Now we're going to wrap it up. But Jeremy's over in Houston. New York is over. Has of course Jason Kidd. We're going to say with this move, where does New York rank as it relates to the big time teams in the East, top to bottom? Because with everything that's going down, this is supposed to be an upward move. Jason Kidd, Marcus Camby. Raymond Felton. So here it is, Mario. I put these teams in order what I thought would be the rankings. Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, Indiana Pacers, Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, above the New York Knicks, Philadelphia 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, and Charlotte with the extra E Bobcats. Where does New York rank as the Knicks go forward?
It is yet to be seen.
Right.
Because to me, I have the same concern that everybody has. It's just that I acknowledge a bunch of what I would be the concerns on the other spots too. In other words, it's hard to say. When you look and compare them to the whole East, it doesn't look like they shifted positions at all. That's what everybody's saying. I agree. But here's the thing, you guys. I feel more comfortable about the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers, about their consistency, even though Indiana made some changes, you guys.
Right.
I'm not so sure if those changes helped them or not.
Right.
Larry Bird is changing positions too?
Yes.
Gone or
he's
something?
gone. He's leaving. I
don't know.
He's already gone.
So let me tell you this. So I have some questions about Indiana in terms of what they recently did.
All right.
and their direction they're going, okay?
Right.
But I definitely have questions about the Chicago Bulls.
Right.
So my thing is that even though I kind of agree with this, I don't know. I feel comfortable that the Miami Heat will be consistent, that the Nets will probably be consistent, the Boston will probably be consistent, but I don't know where the Chicago Bulls are going to fall.
Yeah.
I don't know where Indiana's going to fall, and for that reason, it may not be as bad for the Knicks as we think.
Okay.
But it certainly doesn't look great, does it, right?
No.
But see, Chicago may have a terrible time.
Of course.
They may have a terrible time adjusting to not having Rose.
Okay.
Rose is supposed to be back.
Okay.
But all that. But still, but like I said, Indiana, Vic, is more because it was a fine-tuned thing, and I don't know if that's been messed with.
Well, they got their center, re-signed him, so he's still in place, so he's good. So the parts that's happening, there's the only big moves. They said the best moves in the NBA have been by the Lakers and the Heat. Everybody else is just shuffling around.
Right.
Everybody's trying to wonder because New York had this sensation of the NBA during the regular season. Did they stay at where they were, which was really they put them around fourth on the best at the best, sixth and maybe eighth if they really underproduced because they had a lot going
I'm with
for
that totally. It's just that, right, I'm with all of that assessment. I just think that they're clumped pretty tight at the top there in the East to me. In other words, after Miami.
Right. And Chicago with a healthy Rose.
See, I don't know, Vic.
Healthy Rose.
See, after Miami, to me, you have a glut. You have really a glut in there to me. Okay. I don't know how Chicago is versus... I would tend to think Boston is above them, but I don't know that.
Right.
See, I just think there's a glut right there after Miami, where to be seen.
Right.
I have no idea how Chicago versus the Celtics.
Right.
Is going to be. I have no idea.
I know. The Celtics got a lot of young talent coming back from injury, so they're going to be surrounded even better than they were this year.
They look like they're a better team.
They're going to be better. Yes.
They look like they are, but like I said, man, I like it though. I don't think I think it's a clump because they're all kind of good. It's going to be good basketball.
Right. I think it's going to be good basketball. If everything goes the way it is, you can't, bottom line is if Chicago gets anything back from the effort of a fully healthy Rose, just the way they play the game, and because of their coach who has this doctrine of defense, they're at worst to me 3. I think they're still a solid 2.
But isn't it like this big old gap after Miami?
Yeah, it's like a larger
Miami,
gap,
and then there's a big gap.
It's a larger gap. Right. Last year, Chicago was closer, because of the regular season, and I still say this. The road through Chicago, nobody really had to experience, and Philadelphia took full advantage of the injuries. So having them back, I'm not sure if Miami and all the matchups would have been the same. Now they get to come back off a championship. Now Miami's on a high now. They're rolling. So it's a different way to go in and play. I agree with you, man. I agree.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I'm going to say this right offhand. If the Brooklyn Nets perform better than the New York Knicks, it's going to be a letdown for the New York fans. It's going to be a big one. Okay. There's big
for a minute. Wait.
I'm saying
but Vic,
they have less.
I'm so curious to see
Brook Lopez
because
is your
Brooklyn.
center.
Well, here's the thing, though. See, here's the thing. To me, when Brooklyn gets a team, see, it has a lot to do with the fact that Brooklyn. It's not just New York.
Right.
That's a whole subgroup. Okay.
That's right.
So they're going to get this huge amount of loyalty
already
because I know some of them people, man. They're gonna be like totally crazy.
The fandom is gonna be
they're
cool.
Gonna get crazy. So it may be just cool anyway, just to watch.
The role players are gonna have to gel and get to. It's what New York went through, and Carmelo.
It may not be good basketball, but it won't make any. I want to watch the fans and see what happens, you guys, because that's a big deal.
Well, the indictment
that's like
going to be this.
The Compton.
Yeah, see, my problem is this. I'm going. If New York has been in this fold, they have the Isaiah Thomas history, have all this, and they still can't make an impact into the top 5 teams. And Brooklyn comes out of nowhere and said, bam, we made some trades and we'll outperform your organization this year. It will be a big letdown for the New York Knicks because they've been in the fold for quite some time, spent way more money. And here the Brooklyn Nets, even without the Dwight Howard thing with Deron Williams, of course, and Brook Lopez.
No, let's let them come to the Lakers. They act like they just want the Lakers to have him. Even the people on all the talk shows. Well, he looked like he belonged with the Lakers. What the hell that mean? Is it like a conspiracy to get Dwight Howard to the Lakers?
Hell no. What they're saying is, let me tell you what the move is to me on this. I really don't care where Howard goes. I just think it's bad decisions by the people around him. I just think it's terrible because now they're left with very few options. And now the worst case scenario is he stays in Orlando, which he said, please get me the hell out of here. So now
you can't piss in your bed.
see, I'm saying I don't care where he goes. The problem is, can he go somewhere or stay? And it's not going to happen. All right, it's that time, you guys. It's that time. We got to go over to that man who is what we call, he is the man. He says, Kobe, it's me and you, baby. So here we got Stern. He says, you know what? I have a great idea for the Olympics. Let's take everybody and put a cap on the age. And Kobe Bryant says, you want to cap all the Olympic participants at the age of 23. Stupid. Mario.
Dude, we need to go back and have the Olympics for amateurs. It was such a mistake to have the pros compete. People say we did it because the other people did it. It was not even like our system. And all it did was mess everything up. You used to have a better Olympics. And I'm thinking that it's not just basketball, Vic.
Right.
It's all the other sports.
Right.
Take the pros out now. There's enough international pro games now in every sport that they don't need to be part of the Olympics anymore.
Right.
They got all the World Cups and world competition things.
Right.
All this other stuff, Just take them out the Olympics.
Okay, so let me say this. Now, Mario.
At least the Olympics.
You have a lot of people who agree with you as it relates to you want the amateurs. But let me just say this because there's always a position where I think money comes into play. Now, you guys going to remember this.
It is about money.
Watch this. In the Olympics, when the gymnastic countries were kicking the U.S.'s ass, when the hockey teams not only were kicking our ass and their players would come and play in our professional leagues, go back to the Olympics and then come and whoop our ass in the Olympics, nobody said a word. And they were professional, getting paid by us, going back to their country.
I said it.
So for them, they didn't do this, Mario. They didn't say, we feel sorry for the Americans. Let's go send our juniors over.
But Vic, that's not really the comparison that was made. The issue was back then that the foreign countries, a lot of them had programs.
No,
especially the communist countries.
I understand.
But they said, well, they get apartment and living and all this. I said, have you seen an apartment
I understand
in Moscow? Have you seen it? You'd rather stay on UCLA campus dorm.
Let me say this. The other night, Brazil played against the USA. They got their own version of a Steve Nash. This guy was just making shots, getting penetration, and assists at will. About the same size. It could be Steve Nash's cousin. They said, why don't he play in the NBA? He says, they're paying him so much money over there. He don't need to come over here. Now, what do you tell? He's at a professional level making that money.
I think you could approach it internationally and apply, at least make an attempt to apply the same standards.
And the problem is the other countries. Why do the other countries not want to buy into this?
But remember now, it's not 30 years. See, what happens is now we're in the year 2012.
Right.
The world's a way different place. When this first came up,
right.
This kind of we were talking about what? The 80s? Was it the 80s?
Right.
So a lot has happened since then. So to me, it's a lot easier to regulate the other countries. I'm saying it for them too. I don't think that I don't think all these NBA players should go back and play for their countries either.
Right. But
I think you should get all the pros out of the Olympics.
Right.
Just the Olympics. I'm saying if you could have an international. See why David Stern is doing it, Vic? Mm-hmm. You know why because like you said, it's money, right? Mm-hmm. They really want to have the NBA International Championship.
Right.
That's what, and I'm saying have that.
Why can't they have
out the Olympics?
Why can't they have the Junior Olympics? They already suggested this. They said, you know what? If you
Junior Olympics. Don't they have that already? Is that like teenagers or something?
Let me see. I was trying to stay focused, you guys, but he made me laugh. All right, so here's the part. They already the suggestion of swapping out and going, well, let's have the Olympics for the amateurs and then have the world competition every other year some other place.
Right.
I said, okay, let me tell you why it's not going to work. Do you want to see the best players or do you want to see amateurs?
I want the Olympics to be the best amateurs. That's what I want to see.
And I want to see the best
I don't
players.
want to see them. No. In the Olympics, see what happens in the Olympics. You change the whole meanings of the Olympics.
Right. That's different.
Now the Olympics doesn't mean it. It was the best amateurs in the world.
Right.
That's what I wanted, and I still get that in other sports. I can get that in like gymnastics.
Right.
I get that in even figure skating, all these other stuff. So back then, it really had to do with the fact that the Americans got pissed because their basketball team lost. That was all of it. The basketball team lost. They got pissed, and so they had to have a change. So what I'm saying is, Stern wants to have an Olympic, NBA all over the world, and a world championship.
Right.
And I'm saying that makes more sense. And then go back and because it hasn't helped the Olympics. The pros don't even want to stay in the Olympic Village.
Right.
They don't participate, or they do depending on the whims. It doesn't even have the same spirit. And here's what's even worse: the best college players don't get to play.
Right.
That's the part I really hate.
No, and I'm saying it for a reason. What we're saying to the other countries is, and they're saying this: we send our best athletes. We don't have that second tier where we go, here's the amateurs. We send our best. So I'm saying, I understand what the philosophy of the Olympics is, and I agree with you. But the other countries go, we don't have that type of program because we just send the best athletes.
You could just enforce them. All you have to do is go enforce. Nowadays, it's not 30 years ago.
I know.
You could easily go to China and enforce this. You can go to Russia and enforce. See, it's different now. So I'm saying
they have that buy-in.
So now you can't say the other. No, you just make it the rules. You have to do this.
Who's going to make the rules?
The Olympic Committee.
Wonder if they're all equal participants from other countries.
That's the way they got the rules changed initially. The Olympic Committee is the one who makes. That's the ones who let the pros in.
Right.
So it's the same people who can go and say we're going back to the other way.
So they have doctrine.
And we'll enforce this.
Right.
And then make it somehow equal, because to me, athletes should get stipends, right? See, I'm saying they should get stipends.
Oh, that's a whole different message.
No, because what happens in the chat room, that PMC pointed out, well, the Chinese athletes were getting paid. They were.
Of course.
Have you ever seen what they were given? See, this is what cracks me up.
I know.
They were getting paid.
So let me ask you this.
They got an extra mat, extra goat.
Let me ask you this.
An extra little toilet bowl.
Let me ask you this.
They didn't get shit.
If they got the stipends equal across the professional landscape, would that be better?
No. Stipends across, not the professional landscape. No.
I'm saying if all the athletes got equal treatment around the Olympics, whether it's
I'm not talking about the Olympics. I'm talking about college athletes in the United States.
No, that's different.
That they should get stipends, and I don't want. In other words, what I'm saying is, I want the college basketball, the college athletes to get stipends.
Right.
I don't want that to make them ineligible for Olympic competition.
That's our own.
And you have to watch that too.
That's different.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we do.
But I'm just saying. But remember, if we're assuming that the Olympics have an oversight,
right,
that every country would have what they're doing looked at.
Right. I know, Mario.
That's all I'm saying.
We're saying the same thing. If the other countries buy into it,
you can make them do it the same. Okay, whatever way you do it. Because to me, I don't know if they bought into the first one. They were told this is the way we're doing it.
Right.
The Olympic Committee to me is not a democratic situation.
No, it's never been one.
So as far as I know, it doesn't. You don't have to buy into it.
Right.
They tell you what they're going to do.
Right.
And if you don't go by the rules, your team doesn't compete.
Right. So really, what you're saying
is kick people. We kicked Soviet Union out of Olympics.
No, I understand that, and it evolves all the time. And because the landscape is always about the money,
I'm saying they could just tell them, here's the requirements. We will measure the amount of support.
Mario, I got
we
that.
will do all of that.
You're saying take the Olympics and make it more amateur and less professional.
Put it back where it was. The whole spirit was.
When did that change?
When the U.S. lost at basketball.
So prior to then, the other countries were sending amateurs and not professionals.
Yes, to me, because when you try to do the comparison, it was never a real comparison. The comparison they gave back then was that, well, they're professionals in Russia. Right. And I would say, go look with great detail at what they got as a professional.
Right, but
it wasn't even what our college athletes get.
Let me say this.
It wasn't even that.
No, let me say this. I separate what you're getting as a reward for your professional versus that you perform at a professional level. Some people can get paid handsomely for being a professional. In other countries, they say they don't.
I agree.
Professional is how you what your talent is at what level. Now, what you get for that is totally different.
But your intent is to try to compare their system with ours, right?
Well,
isn't that your intent?
Here's where I'm.
In other words, if the word professional means something in Romania.
Yes.
If professional Romania means you live like someone in Watts here in the United States,
they're professional.
What is that? That to me, that doesn't mean it's equal.
Right.
And the whole point was that they were saying that the foreign athletes had an unfair advantage.
That's right, and it's always been that way.
And if I'm saying is, if we look at their professionalism and it doesn't add up to an unfair advantage. When you actually go measure up what their gains were, if it actually ended up that their professional advantage didn't even equal what a scholarship to the University of Michigan equals, then it is no advantage, right?
Right. Mario, I know what you're saying.
I'm just trying to say, if it is an unfair advantage, I'm for getting rid of all of those. When they're not an unfair advantage, I think you need to tally it up and call it what it is.
Like NAFTA.
Instead of making it, see, back then it was a veiled lie. They used that as an excuse to change the rules, but it never was that the Chinese athletes or the Russian athletes got anywhere near what our pro athletes got.
And nobody cared.
No, because it was not about being fair. It was about you lost at basketball.
Right. So, and all I'm saying is that if the decision is to have the best athletes versus the same rules of professionalism.
No, I don't think professional best athlete, the best athlete, if he's a paid athlete.
No, what I want to see is this. This is all I want to see. You can put it in amateur or professional. Give me the fastest runner, the fastest gymnast, That's all I'm looking for. Now, if we're going to break it down into amateurs, that's a whole different philosophy, and I agree with you. I just want to see the best participating athletes in the Olympics. We're trying to change that to amateurs because they need an equal playing field of getting what they get for participating. I'm agreeing with that, but I want to see the best.
That's why I'm saying the Olympics should be for amateurs. We're only talking about the Olympics. If they want to have professional track, professional basketball, that should be professional, and they should not compete in the Olympics. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree with you.
And the Olympics should be for amateurs.
Right, and it's changed.
And you could do all that.
Right, it's changed, and
different rules.
I'll say this: the Olympics is too big to fail.
Yeah, and I'm going. Yeah, and I still go like I'd rather be. Some of these pro athletes go to their country where you're a pro, and you come here. You're going to live better if you're a UCLA student.
Watch this. Yeah, I'll say this. Soccer is going to be making way more money. It's so tied into their professional culture that they're only sending the best. And I can imagine them sending less. And I just think it's so tied in different countries to their culture. I'd love to see this happen. If they get buy-in on it, I'm all for it. But I think it's just too big to fail. All right, you know what? We got to go over to the last one here. Elvis Dumervil. All right, you know something? You know, social media, Mario, has gone to a different level. You can't go out anywhere. Poor man. They got a board up there that says, you know, this man was in Florida, Miami, and he was suspected of driving with road rage. So he got arrested, and it's for aggravated assault. So someone in Denver, Multi-Line International Imports, said, we're going to dedicate a billboard to you. And it says, Dumervil, stick with the guns that made you a star. When somebody sits there and hits you in the head with that, you know you don't see this coming. What message do you think he's getting from this, Mario? I mean, it's already hit the social sphere. Okay? Road rage.
Now, where is the sign?
The sign is in Denver. I'm saying.
It's not in Florida, huh?
No.
All the Florida people say, cut that shit out.
Wait a minute.
Because right now, lately, it's all Florida.
Wait a minute. Mario, think about the company that's going, you know something, we want to pay to get the message across when one of our brethren goes into road rage. So, is this big pimping? Is this balling by Multi-Line International Imports?
The commissioner will have something to say about this one.
Wait a minute. You got to tell me, dude.
Road rage.
Did this company is that big pimping?
It's big pimping.
Is it balling?
It's galling.
What about, would it be something for the ladies?
Oh, man, no. It can't be something for the ladies because he was, no, it can't be.
It can't be. So, in other words, this is a message that, you know, here's the part I'm saying. You think this will make him get right?
Hell no.
So he's going to be the same old cat. But you know what?
It's a fine line. Do they want him to get right, or they want him to be a pro ball player?
Well, they want him to stick with what he...
They want him to be a pro ball player and then fake like he's doing right.
You're right.
That's it. I got it.
All right,
it's all about faking a fake-ass image. Right. Like, smile a lot and say... Thank you to the community.
Well, see, Mario.
Thank you.
I think this is the part where I think.
Thank you.
And Mario, we say this all the time. You have followers who are following you religiously. You just don't know.
I told those girls, I'm retired. Not doing that no more.
Right. So here it is.
I'm done with that.
I'm giving multi-line because I just didn't see this one coming. And I said, if you ever want to see somebody get road rage, imagine Doomerville driving down the street and he sees this billboard while he's driving. Will he be in a rage?
He'd be headed over. He probably owns one swoosh. Probably his brother-in-law.
That's cold. I am done with New Sports, man. I'm getting out of here. Thank you, guys. That was it. Done deal. I am dying laughing over this, man. I'm serious. I am.
That's right, everybody. It's New Sports. Victor Allen's own unique neo-urban look at sports. Hot, sexy. Go home and tell your mom about it. Yeah.
Oh, man, you know.